What's going on, everybody? It is Aprebs here, and here we are with a little bit of a different video on our solo queue climb series. This video today is going to just be some gameplay with me commentating over top of it um, for a couple of reasons. The main reason is that this night of recording, I played about 4 games of Tank Roll, and yep, because it's Tank Tuesday, right? And I ended up losing all 4 games, going way down in the tank roll. But also, some of the gameplay actually didn't get recorded, cut off midway. So here I just have the footage from the first match I played, all the way up to about halfway through the other team's attacking round. But it's plenty of time for me to explain sort of what I'm trying to do here. So my goal is I kind of want to explain the roles and how frustrated I got in this match. So first things first, you see the Junkrat right there. He places his concussion mine in his trap, and I call out and I say, "Hey, careful!" Right? You all saw that Junkrat, right? But as you saw there, the Roadhog and our um, one of our DPS, they just decide to walk right into it themselves, even though I call it out. There we go, the Torbjorn, right? So that was the first thing, and I said, okay, this is not promising. Nobody's acknowledging what I'm saying on comms, um, not really paying attention, so, uh-oh. The second thing is right here, right on this first choke point. I'm trying to set up a position here on the choke point, and as you noticed, for whatever reason, the Torbjorn and the Roadhog decide that they just want to push to the right for some reason, right? Um, it's a fine idea, right? If the Roadhog maybe gets a hook, pulls somebody into the room with them, and they're able to capitalize off of that or something. Um, or maybe if the Torbjorn had a turret in there, but as you see as we come back here, the Torbjorn turret, he's moved it. It's outside. It's not even anywhere near there, right? And now again, now I decide, okay, maybe I'll push into that room with them and help support them. But again, I haven't set up any position yet, and that Torbjorn just decided, I'm gonna go run right out into the middle of the enemy team, just like the Roadhog did before that, while I was trying to hold the choke point under the bridge. Um, so again, no communication among this team, and no cohesion, no cooperation in terms of where to push or what to do, and everybody deciding to do their own thing. So I decide, you know what, instead of trying to create a position and push forward, let me do what I usually do during moments like this, and I'll switch to Winston, and I'm going to disrupt their line. I'm going to hop over and I'm going to try to do what I can to push forward, get behind their line, and disrupt them by attacking their squishies or attacking their supports, so that they have to make the decision. Should we turn around, deal with this Winston, and then leave our backs exposed to the pushing team? Or do we rely on our support or our DPS that's being targeted to win the duel or escape, uh, so that we can continue defending our line, right? And in that case, it's a win or lose situation, right? If they turn around, they reveal their backs, and my team can capitalize on that and push forward, right? Now watch here real quick. So I'm low on health. I've hit the I need healing button, okay? And on comms, I'm saying mercy, specifically calling out not just I need healing, but specifically saying mercy, I need healing. And if you notice, she was just staring right at the Genji, continuing to solo and pocket heal him. Right now, he does go off on a Dragon Blade here, gets a triple and gets a quadruple actually, and it allows us to push onto point, and eventually we take this, right? But that was maybe 10 seconds after the whole Mercy, I need healing debacle. Um, and so it was just a little frustrating to me there that just the lack of cohesion, right? And the whole point of the tank role is to gain ground, to set up the situation, and really we're the ones who initiate and set it up, right? So here I am trying to set things up, and the other team, the other team is defending really well, but also our team just isn't doing a lot. We're not capitalizing off of anything that the tanks have set up. The other tank here switched to Wrecking Ball, which I think was another good pick, another good disruptor, um, which was, I guess, perfect because eventually this does work out. We do push all the way uh, and capture the final point, or get the payload all the way to the final point. But our team was just so all over the place that us being these two disruptive type um, tanks, I think really was the best part, and allowed us to push forward, really disrupt the team, and then our team could come in. I just didn't see a lot of results from it. Constantly uh, did not have any view on what the Genji was doing. Um, and the only heals I got, maybe 95% of the time, the only heals I got were from the Ana, meaning that Mercy, I guess, I don't think they were in a squad together because I didn't see the markers for that. But um, classic situation of the Mercy solo pocketing the Genji. I guess believing that he was gonna carry us. Um, and the Ana being the one who knows, okay, um, I need to help keep my tanks alive. Um, and the Torbjorn, I don't know what he was doing. He would be all over the place. I never really understood where he was. And you see here, I'm so close to death, and that Ana just saves me. She knows, and then just that little bit of time of healing here from the Mercy. Um, yeah, and these fights are just so chaotic as you watch them. um Trying to call out, or this is my one like self review that I think I could have done better. um I was getting a little frustrated at this point. I was very disappointed in the lack of communication from our team, so I wasn't doing a whole lot of talking here either. I could have been calling out who I was diving, who I was going for, which, as you notice, it's constantly the Mercy, um, and or the Junkrat, right? They tend to be together a lot in this match because that Junkrat was just dealing so much damage. And as I would push forward, they kind of relied on each other. Mercy would keep Junkrat alive. Junkrat would do just spam damage me and keep me alive, or keep her alive. Um, but here is where I get a little bit of confidence back. I feel like, okay, this Ana knows what I'm doing. Gives me the nano because she knows that I can do a whole lot. Um, the Wrecking Ball here gets a nice ult as well, puts some mines down on the bridge there, right where I'm dealing all that damage. So we both kind of help secure a lot of kills and are able to then finally push that to the end of the second checkpoint. But yeah, I'm feeling a little confident. There's the Ana waving at me. I feel like, okay, I got somebody who's got my back, knows what I'm trying to do, and is able to recognize the plays. So that's why she gave me the Nano. Plus, they switched to a Reaper to kind of counter Winston. It's a typical counter for Winston. He's got the big shotguns that just target my large body. Um, yeah, and we make it through, and again, eventually we do make it all the way through to the end here. But these fights were just chaotic. Um, Things were not going well. Um, I think it went a little bit better here at the end, just because there's nowhere, like there's nothing else to do. The last thing to do is just to push this all the way to the end. At this point, the enemy team sort of has a choke that they're coming through, right? They've got this two side entrances to come into, so there's only so much they can do, and there's only so much divided attention that my team, you know, can be exposed to, right? So we get to the end, and here we go on defense. And the video cuts off a little bit in the middle of this, so I'm actually I'm not gonna really narrate too much about what's happening on screen. You can watch and see for yourself. It's a lot of the same. I try to set up points of contact. The first choke point, I decide, you know what, I'm going to switch to Reinhardt instead of Sigma. I want more shield. I can control that long choke point by setting up my shield actually near the building next to the capture point, so that we are also not confined in the choke point. Instead, I get to lay back over here next to the building and next to the abandoned car, so that if my shield drops, we can use the buildings and the car as cover. And why should we keep ourselves trapped in the choke point when instead they have to come through and we can focus fire on that choke point, right? Um, Long story short, that does not work. My team, again, does not work together. So, but I'm just going to go a little bit into the other part of what frustrated me about the games that happened this night of recording, right? So they all follow the same pattern. Um, Very few communicators in these matches that I did. Now I'm doing solo queue, right? This is solo queue climb series, but I'm still surprised about how many people. I guess these are other solo queuers that are playing, but that just refuse to talk on voice comms. And either that, or there's people who refuse to like talk at the start of a match, right? Like I'll say, "Hey, how's it going?" I'll try to talk to people, and it isn't until they need to start to make call outs or like start to say, "Hey, I need heals," or "Hey, watch out, Widow's over there," right? It's only until then that they decide to start talking, and it makes me wonder, like, why are you ignoring the communications, right? Like from the bat, I'm trying to set up some communications. I'm trying to figure out, okay, is this team going to be cohesive? What's going to happen, right? Um, and it just doesn't work out. And so they all kind of follow that formula of people who were not really doing a lot of chatting and communicating. And the other thing I had to deal with a lot that night were levers, right? So as I mentioned before, the Torbjorn, the Mercy, and the Genji, and you'll see them kind of just standing around. I think right after the enemy team captures this point, you'll see them just standing around. But what ends up happening is the enemy team just, after they capture this point, just roll right on through. Right, we don't get to do a lot to stop them. Again, people aren't really playing around my tanking. Right, they're not staying around my shield except for the Ana. They're not really doing a whole lot. So I decide after they do finally capture this point to switch. And I say, okay, you know what? Let me switch over to Winston again. It was doing a lot of work before. We've still got the Wrecking Ball, and everybody's all over the place. So yeah, why not? Um, but they do make it all the way past the bridge, and then this is where I got really mad. Um, these three right here, not these three. The Ana did help out. The Ana decided, you know what, we're gonna lose this, so she stayed here. But the Mercy, the Doomfist, and the Torbjorn, after the enemy team pushed through castle gates, they just decided to play around outside on the bridge. They literally just played around. The Doomfist would hop up, the Mercy would float up to him, the Torbjorn was just jumping around, hammering things. They did that for the entire last third point. The entire last third point. The enemy team finally captures it, and then we're going into the overtime rounds, and they leave. and the Ana is the last to leave, and the only reason that they left is because they felt like, okay, 6 against 3, that's not going to happen. Only me and the other tank decide to stay at the end of the game, and then the other team, even though it's just the two of us, decide to just try hard and push so hard into the last point, or into the first capture point, to win the game. And it was like just extremely disappointing. Um, and then the other matches were the same, and that's the problem that I had with these matches that went on. So there you have it. That was a little bit of the gameplay from one of my tank matches the other day. Um, and yeah, the match after that, um, we had a Zenyatta, um, and really Zenyatta's not bad, right? But you need to, he needs to play with the team, right? He needs to call out who he's discording, and he just doesn't output a lot of healing, right? And in the types of metas that people are playing nowadays, he just doesn't really fit in that well, right? Just because people like to dive and they like to brawl, and Zen's just not going to do a lot of that. But I had a a player on the next team that just refused to switch off of Zenyatta, and they weren't doing a lot, and of course they weren't communicating. Um, and so that was a little bit discouraging. They ended up leaving uh, midway through that round as well. Um, and then the last match I did wasn't that bad. We did end up losing, but it was a little bit better. There were people that were communicating, um, but yeah, we had another person who refused to switch. We had the other tank was just solely playing Roadhog, which again, not necessarily bad if you're playing him the right way based on the situation, right? And this guy just he was not. He was not. Um, so, um, yeah, overall, I guess my goal from today's video was just a little bit of a complaint video about the lack of, I guess, accountability in the roles that you play at these lower ranks, right? And the need for cohesion and game sense, right? Now I'm not trying to talk from a high box. My game sense needs improvement as well. Um, like you've seen the footage there, and like I had explained, I had no idea where our Mercy and Genji were probably about 80% of the time during that match. Part of that is because the Mercy was pocketing the Genji, and I guess the Genji was just trying to go for some sick flanks and, you know, try to do some cool things and maybe do it that way. And that's a fun way to play. Um, but then you're playing on your own, right? And if you're going to be playing ranked, you got to play with the team. You got to. It's a team effort. It's a team game. You want to get cool, um, you know, cool flanks, cool dragon blades, cool things like that. Do it on quick play. Do it there and have fun. Enjoy the game. That's fine. That's what it's about. Enjoy the game. But if you're gonna take it seriously, you're gonna play the ranked, right? Play with the team. Play as a team. And that was the main thing. That was the main thing that I've been experiencing in the solo queue. Um, with the support, I've been doing a little bit better. I've lost a couple games. You'll see that video on Thursday, um, where it's a little difficult as well um, when you don't have everybody playing together. But with support, like I can carry that a little bit more because I'm keeping people alive. I'm able to physically keep them alive by healing them, right? With a tank, I can protect, but I can't really do much else to keep you alive by healing you. I just got to protect you. But if you're not playing around my protection and what I'm trying to set up, then there's nothing I can do for you, right? So that's the hard part, it is understanding what these roles are meant to do. Right? As a tank, play with your tanks. They're trying to set up the best situation for you. They are trying to gain a foothold and help you move forward. Play around them. Help them out. Use the shields that they provide or whatever other type of CC or just stuns that they might set up. Any of that. Right? Use those to your advantage. Okay. If you're going for a flank, that's fine. That does help sometimes. But let your team know. Yeah. Um, and make sure it makes sense, right? If it's a full team of 6, they're all grouped together, and all you have is a concussion mine, or all you have is one dash from Genji. You don't have a full Dragon Blade or anything like that. Even if you do have a Dragon Blade, if they're all together, you're on your own because you didn't help your team and they all got, killed, then it doesn't make sense, right? Play with your team. If you're support, don't focus, heal one person. Okay? Spread the love, especially the tanks. We have a large health pool, so it takes longer to heal us. Yes, but that's why. We have a larger health pool because we're in the front. We're gaining ground. We are taking that damage, right? If the enemy team can win by just completely obliterating my shield and not having to do what I do and disrupt and try to do their own flanks and do all that, you gotta switch up your gameplay style. You gotta switch it up for the situations. So, we'll come back next Tuesday. We're gonna have some more tank videos, or tank matches, and hopefully those will go a little bit better. I'm hoping that I'll be able to climb my way forward slowly but surely, and as we've reached the higher ranks, it should get better. Um, Hopefully we don't get stuck in Elo Hell and have to deal with a lot of these shenanigans. The support, hoping for the same. And yeah, thanks so much for watching this. If you have any comments, if you have any thoughts about it, or your own opinions about um, anything that I talked about in this video, please leave a comment down below. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much. Have a good one.